Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am,
So,
you are.
yeah. Today we'll be discussing week 4 concept summary. Have you gone through the lectures? No response.
See, I have not gone through the lectures, but yeah,
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, the concepts that are covered in week 4 include abstract class, interface, then controlled interaction with objects after discussing the private inner class. So we'll combine both inner class and interface, and then we'll discuss controlled interaction with objects. Then we have something called callback functions, and then finally we have iterators. So basically, most of these concepts are a continuation for this interface. So the first two topics, abstract class and interface, is simple. Then you have to, yeah, I'll explain the concepts in this session, and you can go through the lectures also. So because the concrete example that is discussed by professor is very nice, but you have to concentrate very nicely. Then you can understand. And iteratives is simple. So let me start. So as you have not gone through the lectures, what I will do is I'll take you through the syntax, and along with that I'll explain the concept. Okay. So let me create a class. Okay. How we create a normal class, a regular class, simply using class keyword. Then we will have a class name, right? So inside this, we will provide the methods and instance variables. So these methods can be static methods or normal methods, anything. And how do we use this class? We have to create an object of this particular class. Then we will use that particular class. So there is something called abstract class. So to create an abstract class, you have to use the keyword abstract before the keyword class. Now shape is an abstract class. I'll explain what is abstract class later. And what we can include in this abstract class is normal instance variables we can add. Okay. And we can also have some methods like void, uh, print, print shape, and I'm going to give something like system.out println printing shape. So this is a normal method, and abstract class can also have abstract methods. That's our point actually. So I'm going to add abstract void draw method. Now see here you are getting one error. Abstract methods do not specify a body. So the specialty of abstract method is we don't have to specify the body for abstract methods. You can just have this definition or the declaration. We just have to provide the function signature. So this is an abstract method. And who will provide the implementation for this method? We can have child class which extends the shape class, and then those child class can override or give implementation to this draw method. Does that make sense?
So, ma'am, for execution of this draw
Yeah,
method, you are saying
yeah,
that we are creating an object which
no,
extends shape class
yeah,
and
yeah, that's fine. Mm,
okay.
yeah. So second point to remember is we cannot create objects of abstract class. We can only have something like a template, okay, but we cannot create objects of abstract class, but we can use the reference variable. Reference variable is allowed. I'll come to that point again. So next, so this is our abstract class. Now this is the shape abstract class. Now I'm going to have a subclass circle that extends our class shape. Okay, and here this class circle, see here, the type circle must implement the inherited abstract method shape.draw. So whatever abstract methods that is inside the abstract class, that should be implemented in the subclass when we inherit that abstract class. So what we have to do? We have to provide implementation for draw method. So we can have something like system drawing shape, drawing circle. Okay, now this is specific to circle. Now what I did, I used this abstract method. I implemented the abstract method in the class circle, which is subclass of our abstract class. Okay, now anyway this is extending shape, so circle is going to get this method print shape. That's fine. Next, I'm going to have another class rectangle, which again extends shape. Okay, and now here again rectangle also has to implement the method draw. So void draw. I'm going to give a different implementation for rectangle. I'm going to change this as drawing rectangle. And again, I can have another subclass square, and I'm going to implement the method draw for square. Now see, we have some three subclasses, circle, rectangle and square, which extends our abstract class shape, and all these subclasses are giving implementation that is specific to that particular subclass. So for circle, we are having drawing circle. For rectangle, we are having drawing rectangle. And for square, we are having drawing square. And what made all these classes to follow a similar or uniform pattern? Because we have our abstract class, which is giving us an abstract method draw, and whichever subclasses that extends this shape has to implement this method. So we can say that this abstract class shape is actually acting like a template for subclasses.
Has to means like it's compulsory. Like we have to.
Yeah, it's compulsory. It must implement these methods.
And also abstract method don't have a body.
No, abstract method, we cannot have body. So abstract method is just, yeah.
I mean, just a signature, no definition. I mean,
No definition.
why is it a special method?
Yeah, this is special method. So when we say a method is abstract method, that method won't have a body, but whichever subclasses that is inheriting the class that has the abstract method should implement the body for that method. So, and one more thing is, if a class has an abstract method, then we must make that class as abstract class.
Ma'am, what does that template for sub subclasses mean?
What does that? Sorry.
Template for subclasses mean?
So just think like this. So suppose this is a big project developed by some many developers together, a team project, and each of these subclasses, circle, rectangle, and square, are going to be developed by individual developers. But one thing that we want to make sure is all these subclasses should follow a uniform pattern. Every classes should have this draw method. How can we make sure that? We can give a template, right? So we can also say, first we can have this abstract method. So senior developer is going to have this abstract class. So he is going to give this abstract class to these three developers and telling that you just develop this circle, rectangle, and square, but it should follow this particular what the structure. So if this method is abstract method, anyway, whoever who develops this circle has to implement the draw method. In the same way, rectangle and square. So all these subclasses are going to have a uniform structure. So we can say that this is acting like a template for subclasses.
Ma'am, are the classes circle, rectangle, are they incomplete right now?
No, no, they are complete now. I mean, I have not given anything like instance variable or anything, but they are complete.
Because it says extends shape, right? But uh, like they all have the same void draw in it. So like we need to do we need to add something else also?
We can include anything that we want, that is fine. But all these subclass that extend shape must implement the draw method.
So it's compulsory that the all the classes circle rectangle they implement this draw method, which is
Yeah.
abstract, to get that different implementation. Correct, ma'am?
Please repeat. I think you got
Different.
it.
I'm saying different implementation. They are doing the different implementation,
Huh.
which is the draw method in different classes. So it's
Yeah.
compulsory to do that, right? I
Yes,
mean,
yes. It is compulsory to that.
hmm.
Must
And ma'am,
implement this methods. Yeah.
how do we know the properties of draw?
Sorry. Properties in the sense.
Like like what is the point of even adding draw? Because you can straight away write circle extends shape and then I mean there are no
Mhm.
properties or anything that's extra given in draw. So why do we need to write
Yeah,
draw?
this is just for an example, right? That's why. This is very simple example. So
Oh,
here I have drawing circle, drawing rectangle, drawing square. So if it is a bigger project or some application development, they will be having many methods, many abstract methods.
Does abstract class have constructor?
Yeah, you can include constructor in abstract class.
So if
So
object
that's
of that is not called, then what is use of the constructor?
so you're asking we cannot create object of abstract class, then why we need constructor? Is it?
Right.
So what we can say is, this super constructor calling that method, right? Super two brackets. So if class circle has some construct, okay, suppose this class shape has a constructor shape. Suppose this has some int a. This dot a is equal to some 0. Now, if in circle, what we can have is, suppose this has int uh, a comma b, or just b is enough. And in circle, we can have this constructor. Let me have this as a itself. Then it will make more sense. So whenever I create circle object, I can call to initialize this particular a. I can call super of a. and then I can initialize B here. So in that way, the variable which is from the abstract class can be initialized using this super method. So you
Ma'am,
can
can super
call
be
the
called
constructor
after this dot b?
after this dot B.
Can we call super after this dot b?
Usually, constructor should be called first. I mean, constructor or superclass should be called first.
Yeah, means from error point of view, will that give error?
Let me check. Yeah, constructor call must be the first statement in the constructor. It will
Okay,
give
got.
error. Yeah. So the specialty of abstract class is what I feel. I mean, what I want to say is it is this abstract method. Okay, you can have constructors, you can have instance variables, you can have normal methods. One additional thing is you can have abstract methods. So when you add an abstract method to a regular class, then you must define that class as an abstract class.
Such variable could
Ma'am,
also be
that
abstract.
Yeah,
that means that no, like if any only abstract classes can have abstract this methods, right? Because anything which has an abstract method has to be an abstract class, right?
yeah. If a
Has an abstract method has to be an abstract class, right?
yeah, if a class has an abstract, at least one abstract method, then that class should be abstract class. At the same time, we can have an abstract class without having any abstract methods. That is also fine. It won't give compiler error, but the point what I want to make is why we have to make a class as abstract class. We can have abstract methods and we can keep it as a template for other subclasses to extend. And many other uses are there. I will come to that.
Ma'am, can there be no methods and only instance variables in an abstract class?
No methods and only instance variables. Yeah, it's fine.
Ma'am, does instant variable or this intake can it be also be abstract? Means variable can also be abstract or only method and class can be abstract?
Only, sorry, your question is only class and abstract can be abstract. Sorry, class and method can be abstract
What?
or instance variable can be abstract. I think there is no point of making a variable as abstract. I'm not sure. I have not checked this. Let me go to the same. I'll go to this example because already I have defined, so it's giving error. Okay, so here, what does that mean when we make a variable as abstract? Illegal modifier for the field A. We cannot have abstract variables. Okay,
Okay.
so you understood what is abstract class, why we need abstract class.
And third line, what is that?
Third line, which one?
Line number 3, public.
Okay, that is, yeah, you can have public abstract. I mean, earlier I just declared abstract, right? If it is public, then this method is public abstract method. That's it.
What is the difference here? I mean,
The same thing. So that will be default package access. So you might have learned access modifier, right? So this will be
yeah.
completely public. It is
Okay.
accessible to every classes out there.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Ma'am, I have two questions.
okay.
Ma'am, the first one is in every subclass which extends the abstract classes, do we have to define only those methods which were declared abstract in the parent class, or we can define other methods as well?
Can define other methods as well.
Okay,
The
and one
public
more thing,
void.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Uh, Ma'am, if this shape class was not abstract, if it was a just regular class shape, something like that, then also it would have acted as a template for its subclasses. So what is the difference? What is the use of making it abstract?
So
Am I
this
clear,
will,
ma'am, with my?
yeah, understood. You're asking that suppose this is simply not an abstract method, simply a class shape, and this already has some implementation. Only then it can be included here, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
simply extending this shape, this can be served as a template. This is your question, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Suppose if we define the word method in class shape, and we also define word methods in its subclasses, and then
ah,
method of overriding happens. So it can also act as a template. So why do we
yeah,
need to make it an abstract?
only one point is we don't have to provide the implementation in the template class. Okay. Second point is this draw method, uh, if it is not abstract, then the circle may or may not override. There is nobody will force you to override the draw method if it is not abstract, right? You will override only if you want to override. But when it is abstract, you are getting an error, right? A compiler error. So it's like forcing the subclasses to implement the abstract methods.
But ma'am, it isn't it by default it is accepted that if the signature of any method is similar in both parent and the child class, then the method definition in the child class will be implemented and not to the definition of the parent class.
Yeah, yeah. That comes only after you override, right? But here,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
this method is abstract, you must have to implement the draw method. If it is not abstract, you may or may not override. So that's up to you. So when I declare this as template, then you must override. So that is actually serving as a template. You got the
How can
point?
yes, ma'am, I understood what you said, but I don't understand how we have the option to not override something if the signature is same in parent and child. How do we have the control to not
Yeah.
override it?
Yeah, we have the control now. So if this class shape has this void row, and suppose we have this here drawing a shape. Now even if you do not provide anything here, this is not going to give any error. Anyway, circle is going to get this draw method, and the implementation is the implementation that is provided by class shape. But when you declare this as abstract draw, then you are going to give an implementation that is specific to circle, and you are forced to give that implementation.
So, ma'am, in this
Okay,
regular,
okay. So ma'am,
yeah,
basically this is just to for the programmer to force force the programmer to uh, extend the extend shape, like in this case it forces the programmer to extend circle so that it must define the void draw method.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
okay.
also, another point is we can, what we say, collect together similar subclasses under a same class. So that is, yeah, exactly like inheritance. Yeah, the same concept we are using, but one more level.
And
Okay.
ma'am, we can't make objects of shape class.
No, when if it is abstract, we can't make object of abstract class.
Okay.
Ma'am, but we can make
Okay.
so ma'am,
objects
when,
of the childs of the children of the abstract class, right?
So you are saying the reference
So
variable we can create from abstract class. Yeah.
yes, we're like for example, we can make an object for circle, square, and rectangle, right?
Uh, Please repeat. Please repeat.
Not circle, square, and rectangle. We can have objects for these classes, right?
Yeah, yeah, we can have, yeah. So we can have something like
and ma'am, when this
now.
square extends shape, so it is by default taking the method of the draw method of the parent class, right, ma'am? So if it is not an abstract class, then you are not no need to define that void method, draw method explicitly.
Yeah, you can either use the
Draw method of
method
the shape
draw
class,
methods of the shape. Yeah,
but if it is abstract, you are explicitly, I mean,
giving an
giving
implementation.
an implementation. So
Yes,
that is the
correct.
difference in normal classes and abstract classes.
Abstract classes, correct.
Okay.
So first point is we cannot, hope you remember, we can't create objects of abstract class, but we can create a reference variable. So we can have something like shape s1 equal to new, not shape. This is not allowed. See, cannot instantiate the type shape. But what is allowed? We can have circle.
Circle.
Yeah. And
What did you say
shape.
about reference variables?
So ref
LHS, that shape S1, reference
S2.
variable S2, yeah, S1, S2.
Hmm.
Both.
Reference variable means what exactly happens when we write this line? Shape S1 equal to new circle means an object
Polymorphism.
of circle. Yeah, I will come to that. So I'm just asking this particular line. So an object of circle will be created in the heap memory, and S1 will carry the reference of that object. So S1 will stand in the stack, right? This variables will be in the stack.
Stack,
So
yeah.
S1 will point to the object in the heap. So
Heap.
reference variable means which is pointing to the object. Okay. So every time this is a very important concept in Java. So we always call this is reference variable, and this is our original object. S1 is actually pointing to the object.
This is
Now,
called an instance of an object, new circle,
yeah, circle is instance of circle class,
circle class,
object of
instance object.
circle class. Yeah.
Hmm.
So next is we can have new square, and also S3 is equal to new rectangle. This is allowed. And normal circle C1 equal to new circle, circle square, I mean something equal to new square. Sorry, square, some variable name equal to new square. That is also done here. That is normal now. So
Excuse me,
that
ma'am.
has something like, yeah.
Ma'am, this shape is a abstract class, right?
Yes.
But ma'am, I think in the second lecture I have learned that for abstract classes we use implement. Like I'm not getting like extend
No,
shape
no.
is okay.
Yeah, for abstract class we use extends only, but for
Okay.
interface we use implements. I'll come to that.
Okay, okay. I'm mixing it up. Okay.
Yeah. So
Ma'am, what is different between extend and extends? Is something singular plural?
we don't have extend keyword. Extend is normal English word. Extends is the keyword that we use to inherit from another class. I don't remember extend. No, no, I guess.
Ma'am, if we only use circle C2 is equal to new circle instead of shapes S2 is equal to new, shape S1 is equal to new circle, this also works, right?
Yeah, that's what I am showing here. So this will also work. Okay. Similar way the others. I think that is fine. Hope this much it's clear.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then we will see the lecture
Ma'am,
slides quickly. Yeah.
ma'am, I try to understand the last point. I think you were writing square on the left hand side, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we can write that also. That's also fine. Square is
So,
normal class.
so how will
Uh,
you write the whole line?
Write the,
Like, could you show the whole line?
okay. So normally how will we create an object of a class? S1 is already declared.
Okay, okay,
We don't have this constructor. S2 is also declared. Okay.
okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay. Now So these are
Hey,
things that
ma'am,
we,
I just noticed like when you said that that's like shape S1 equals to new circle. So shape is data type, shape is the data type, but then the object is of circle type, right?
yeah, yeah.
And
So
then
S1 is
you
of
were saying
shape
that an
type.
object of circle will be created in the heap memory and something.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
here we can say S1,
Yes.
okay, I'll write this, the reference variable S1 is of type what? Shape. Okay, and the object is of type circle. Okay.
Ma'am, does this mean if circle has some extra methods that cannot be called via S1?
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you show the about code? Can you just scroll up? Okay, so the shape class is work similarly like we have created in week 2, week 3. Like it works same, but when we introduce a abstract function, then we have to write the keyword abstract there, right?
Yes.
If a single abstract function I have, then I have to write that abstract, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
other functionality is the same like we did last
You're
session.
correct. Mm.
So can I have multiple abstract function here?
Yeah, you can have multiple abstract function here.
Oh, and is it mandatory to subclasses have this draw function, draw method?
Yeah, it is mandatory to provide the implementation for the draw method.
And whatever signature I have created here in third line, I should follow the same signature for this draw method, like
Yeah, yes,
the
yes.
same argument in draw, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Ma'am, one question, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we did here, method overriding in
Yeah,
seventh line, right? So
correct.
while creating the shape object, if you call dot draw, it will do runtime polymorphism and it will invoke this seventh line draw.
Yeah.
But
So
suppose
suppose,
we also define one method, we also method overload the draw in circle. Will that
okay.
be callable from shape if we overload the method in circle draw?
I think no, because signature will change, right? So that method will be different. And so shape cannot
But that
access
is
that
also
method.
comes under polymorphism, no? So Dutch polymorphism will work means are you saying compile time polymorphism will not work, right?
Yeah,
Only
compile time
runtime
polymorphism will not
polymorphism
work.
will work.
Yeah.
I think, but parent cannot access the methods of the subclass, right?
Mm-hmm. Parent cannot access, right?
So
Parent cannot
is he
access.
asking the same question or anything else?
Yeah. So he is asking whether if you have something like public or okay, let's have some different return type. And
Excuse me, ma'am. I have a doubt.
yeah.
Excuse
Ma'am,
me,
this will
ma'am.
not be overloading loading, no? If we have different type return type.
No, it's called overloading.
Return type is
It
not
is.
needed in Java. It is just this is enough. We have to change either, yeah, return type is also we can change number of parameters or type of parameters. Now this is overloading. This draw is not taking any arguments and this is taking one argument. One thing is enough. One change is enough.
Overloading will take place if we have the same function name but different arguments and the type of the
Huh.
statement, return statement.
Yeah,
Then it will take place.
yeah. So
Ma'am,
Excuse
just
me, ma'am.
like a review, I guess, like overloading and overwriting. I kind of keep getting confusing. Both. So overriding is when we have like the same arguments and or what?
so overriding means
Same signature,
see here.
method signature.
Okay.
Yeah. we have this void draw, and this is an abstract method. So in this case, we can explain here. Okay, it's fine. Anyway, this abstract keyword we do not have to include in the circle, and see the method signature here, public void draw, and this is also void draw. Okay, the number of arguments or the type of arguments and the return type, everything is same for this method and this method.
So this will
And see,
override, right?
this is overriding.
Okay.
And overloading means the method name will be same, okay, draw and draw, but there will be some changes either in the number of parameters, the arguments, or in the type of the arguments. Then that is overloading. And which method to call is decided at compile time in method overloading. So decided, overloading is actually called as compile time polymorphism. Okay, and overriding is runtime polymorphism, which means which method to call is decided at runtime according to the object that we create at runtime. Okay, and yeah,
Excuse me, ma'am. What is the difference between S1 and C2, ma'am? That
S1
Ma'am,
and
S1
C.
and
can we call
C2.
now S1 dot draw 5?
Yeah, that is a very good example. We'll continue this. So draw and draw here, and I'm going to leave this all. Let's have this as C1. Now if I call C1 dot draw, mm, yeah, okay. Where is our main method? Public static void main string. Hmm. So see here, C1 dot draw is calling this draw method. Now if I give C1 dot draw with some value 9, the method draw in the type shape is not applicable for the arguments int. So this particular variable C1 reference variable is of type shape, okay, and shape, as it is shape variable, shape reference variable, it can see only this draw method. It cannot access this draw method from the child class. That's why we are getting error here. What if we have, I hope it is clear. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am, it is clear. And it does not happen only for abstract classes, it also happen
Yeah,
for normal classes
normal
like
classes.
can.
Yeah. Suppose we have C2 created from circle, and if we call draw method with some value, now this will work fine. We are getting 6. Okay. So this is method overloading, and the other thing is method overriding.
Why it's not actually taking, madam? Actually, I can't understand. That, if you take C1 shape, C1 new circle, what is that meaning in that difference? I can't understand. Circle
So
C2 new circle. Actually, shape C1 new circle. What is the difference that I can't understand that meaning?
But because C1 is,
Both are a new circle.
yeah,
Actually, yes, that's what.
yeah, object is a circle only, but according to C1, as C1 is reference, the reference variable is of type shape, what it will check is whether shape has those methods. So when you call C1 dot draw with some parameter, so compiler is going to check whether this shape has a method draw with some int. Okay. But as it is not having a method with that signature, it's going to give error.
Ma'am, but
According
like
to shape,
if like the if we had like without the parameter, because the child also has this without parameter thing, and in shape also has it, then it will work, right?
yeah. And also,
Actually, why we are writing that line, madam? Shape C1 equal to new circle.
here, that is
Without
I
that
just
line.
wrote, yeah, I just wrote to show that you can instantiate circle with reference variable C1, and this will be useful when we have, when we have to do this runtime polymorphism, where we will have an array of different objects like circle, rectangle, square, and if you want to invoke the method draw, you just have to loop, and according to the object, it will invoke.
Okay.
Yeah,
Ma'am, but why we
mostly.
cannot typecast?
I'm not sure.
Maybe you need to first assign C1 to typecasted C1 and then try after
Mm,
line number 28.
C1 to
Typecasted means circle C1.
wait. I think some syntax. How I tried earlier. Mm,
There is one.
circle. This is wrong. Syntax error.
Ma'am, I think you should also include C1 in the bracket because it is taking C1 dot draw whole typecast to circle, I think.
But no. That is also syntax error. Sorry.
No, no, take two
Uh,
brackets. So one for circle and one for circle C1 both.
okay.
So
No.
like
No.
like this,
I have
or
to check the syntax.
Ma'am, you haven't taken circle C1 both together. Just take both together also, no? In a bracket.
okay, like the bracket on the whole thing, right? Circle and
Yeah,
C1
bracket
together,
on
like in this state.
circle and C1 together.
Okay, whatever it is right now, put it all inside one bracket, right? That is what you're saying.
But
And now
no.
put one
Still,
bracket on
it's
the
wrong.
circle.
Now just put the
Now,
circle inside
yeah.
circle. Sorry, the bracket inside circle.
Bracket inside circle. No,
Just
typecasting
close.
is
Open
No,
one
no,
bracket
just close
before
the
circle.
bracket
Open
or
one.
again.
circle.
You are saying like this.
Yeah, correct. Now it's
Ha. Now it's fine.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you so
But
much.
why do we need to typecast this? This is an object of circle already, right?
Yeah, but we are typecasting the reference variable here. So as this is shape, we are not able to access this draw, right? Draw of 9, this draw.
Oh yeah,
So
correct,
if
correct.
you typecast this C1 to circle, then you can access.
Yeah, got it.
But
Okay.
then also it is runtime polymorphism. So Java does not support compile time polymorphism, right?
Yeah, that is just, sorry, it supports compile time polymorphism. The overloading is actually compile time polymorphism now.
Yeah, but
It is
here
not
we
desired
cannot.
time.
Yeah,
We
but
have
here we
typecasted.
cannot directly C1 dot draw 9.
Yeah, when it is,
Because
see, when we do not do the, what, before doing the type conversion, C1 dot draw means it's going to check whether, as C1 is of type shape, it is going to check whether shape has the draw method with int parameter. Okay, but now as we change, now C1 already typecasted to circle, and circle already has access to this draw method. Where here, this draw method. Now this is okay. So we are not getting any compiler error. This is also compile time polymorphism.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so I'll quickly take you through this slides. Sometimes we collect together classes under a common
Ma'am,
heading.
sorry to interrupt. Ma'am, can you just show the code once?
Yeah. So we have done a lot of changes.
No, okay, so in 28th line you have called like C1 dot draw 28th line. What is it? What it's given? It's printing that thing, right?
Drawing a circle, yeah. This one.
And now, how is it able to access that draw method then?
So in shape, we have this draw method. So we have overridden this draw method. So it's not a problem.
Okay, so here it's working like overriding, right?
Yeah, overriding. So we can say some story like this. So while the compiler is working, compiler is going to check whether draw method is present inside the shape class. Yes, it is present. Okay, fine. Now at runtime, the object is of type circle and circle is having the draw method. So the implementation that is taken is this implementation.
So dynamic dispatch will be applied.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Okay, shall I move to the
Yeah, ma'am.
slide?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we collect together classes under a common heading. So circle, square, rectangle are all shapes. So we created a class shape and these circle, square and rectangle are going to extend this shape. And we want to force every shape to define a function. Okay, we chose draw. Okay, so talking about abstract classes, whatever we saw now. Yeah, here this is that runtime polymorphism we can apply. Suppose we have a shape array, so we can create a shape array, right? And each of the object or each of the elements in that shape can be either circle, square, or rectangle. And according to the shape, it is going to call the method. That is discussed there. And here we have this comparable. This I will discuss in the Saturday session. So actually comparable is an interface. So we will come to that in Saturday session with the coding question. So I'm not going to discuss that today. Okay, that's about abstract classes. Now comes next question. Suppose we have another abstract class, okay, like abstract class, some color, and this is also having some abstract method. And I want this abstract class to be implemented by the same subclass circle. But as we know that Java does not support multiple inheritance. So we can't have something like extend shape, comma, color, right? So this is not allowed. See, syntax error and can delete this tokens. Why? So because multiple inheritance is not supported by Java. So we can't extend two different classes. But we have a solution for this, that is interface.
Ma'am, we cannot extend multiple
Classes.
classes. Right?
Yeah. We cannot extend multiple classes, but we can extend multiple interfaces. But let's see what is interface first. Example 4. Okay. So interfaces are also like classes, normal classes, but there are many differences actually. So how we declare class name. So interface is also something called reference type like class. Now to declare an interface, we have to use the keyword interface. Let's have the same shape as interface now. Okay, and here interface can have abstract methods, default methods, static methods, and public, static, final variables. So actually this should not be comma, it is public and static and final. I will explain each of them. So these are things that we can include in interface. We cannot have constructors in interface. Okay.
Can you do it in different lines, not in one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not visible.
Okay. Okay, can have abstract methods, default methods, static methods, and public, static, and final variables. Okay, let's go one by one. The first point to remember is in interface, if you do not specify a method as a default method or a static method, by default, methods in interface are abstract. By default, methods in interface are abstract methods, and they are also public. Okay, public and abstract. So if I declare a method as just void draw, see here, insert semicolon to complete method declaration. So when we give the semicolon, only when those methods are abstract methods. We saw that in abstract classes, right? Hope you remember. So abstract methods are defined. At the end, we will give the semicolon. So here we saw that error. What it is asking us to insert the semicolon, which means this particular method draw by default it is public and it is abstract. Public, okay, let's leave. It is abstract. You can also include this by yourself, public abstract, that will not give any error. But even if you do not provide this as public abstract, it will be public and abstract. Now, whichever classes that inherit this interface must implement this draw method. Okay. Now, remember this is abstract and public. Okay. Next thing is we can have default methods. So void default, sorry, I think syntax is wrong. Default void paint. So see the error here. When I declare this method as default method, method body expected after this token. So in interface, if you declare a default method, you should provide the body. So you can include something like this. You can simply leave this as a space also, that's also fine. Painting. And Next is static methods. The static void I'm not getting any name. Let us have a F. So static method, we must implement something here because as you might have already learned that static methods cannot be overridden in the subclasses, right? So you should give some implementation for the static method. Okay, what are the three things? First one is this, if we do not provide any keyword like default or static, any access modifiers, then that will be by default abstract and public. So these methods must be implemented in the subclasses that inherit interface. And for default methods, we should give some implementation. What is the specialty of default methods? Every class that inherit this interface will get this default method by default. And static methods are those methods which we can use without creating an object of the subclasses. Can simply use the interface name and call this static method. Shape.f will give us the output here. And next thing what we learned is the variables inside an interface has a specialty, right? So if I declare something like int I is equal int I see equal to 9, then these variables are static and final, public, static and final, and you cannot leave a variable undeclared in interface. So see here int I, the blank final field I may not have been initialized. So if you declare a variable in interface, that has to be initialized with some value. Now I will take your questions. Let me create a subclass for this. Again, I am using the same public circle.
Ma'am, the variable is both static and final also
Yes.
by
We just
default.
told that this
Yeah,
variable must be
static and final.
initialized.
Yeah, variable must be initialized. It is final, we cannot change, and it is static, we can access just by using the name of this particular interface.
So they are by default and they are must means there could not be non-final
Huh.
integer in interface
Yeah,
We
yeah.
or
See
cannot
here, we got an error, right?
yeah.
Where is
and
the
after
error now?
So
declaration
is
we
there
cannot
no
change the
keyword for
file.
non-static?
Sorry?
Is there no keyword such as non-static?
No. So, public circle. So, earlier we used extends to inherit from classes, right? For interface, we have to use this method, the keyword implements. Implements shape. Okay. So, class circle implement shape. Already we have a circle. Let's keep it as circle 1. Again. Yeah. Now see here, the type circle 1 must implement the inherited abstract method shape.draw. So you have to implement this particular abstract method from the interface shape. Now you can have void draw. So one more thing is we have to increase the visibility. So here this is public. Okay, we have to specify the access modifier. So that's why we got an error here. If we specify the access modifier, Here. Okay. Why we got the error there? Any idea? So one thing is this should be we can increase the visibility of draw, but we cannot decrease the visibility of draw. So in interface, we know that this is by default public, right? So if you remember, public is having the highest visibility, then default, right? Then protected, then comes the private. So one thing to remember is when we override the method from interface, we can either keep the visibility or the access modifier as same, or we have to increase. We cannot decrease. So here this is public. So either we have to maintain this as anyway this has to be maintained as public. Clear?
So if you not
This is
provide public
actually
in line number 17, then by default it is public, no?
yeah, that is public. But when I override the method, if I do not provide anything here, what is the visibility now? No modifier, na? That default package private.
Okay, so now it is not public, it is default.
Default, yeah. Hope you remember what is default is that no modifier thing, okay? We don't
So,
have
ma'am, you're saying
specific
that
default.
And is
this
there
void
keyword for
draw,
default?
so void draw in
Sorry,
a child of interface will cause error, as we can either keep access modifier of the method same or increase access, but we cannot downgrade it,
increase.
right?
Yeah.
We cannot downgrade the access, and by default, this draw method, because it's in an interface, it will have public and uh, what was that? Public and
Yeah,
abstract.
public. Yeah. So here we have to give this public, otherwise we'll get error. Now, yeah. So hope you remember all this. We have to use implements to extend this, to inherit this interface. And we have to implement the abstract methods from interface. And what about this default method? The circle one will get this default method. We interface allows us to give this default implementation. Before Java 8, this were not allowed. Now, static functions are like we can call this method without creating the object of circle one. We can just use this shape. Hope it is clear. Any doubt?
You didn't talk about variable in abstract classes, so that is also static final.
Variable in abstract? No. In abstract class, there is no issue. You can have normal instance variables. I talked, right? You can have
So, ma'am,
a normal
like a
instance.
class which implements interface is like a sub interface or what?
Please repeat.
Like a class which implements an interface. What do we call it? A sub interface?
No. This is just subclass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I have a question. Ma'am, you said that default white paint, it will take by default, right? When we call this class circle implement shape, this will take by default, right? Ma'am, can you run and show me how like this is working? I'm not getting default.
Okay. So, let me go back and say this. So earlier, before Java 8, an interface was like purely abstract class. So at that time, only these abstract methods were allowed. So later, after Java 8, they also allowed us to include default methods, which means we can have methods with implementation, like
Okay.
abstract class. Abstract class can have normal methods, right? So just like that, in interface also, they gave the provision to include methods with implementation, but they are called as default methods,
Okay.
not normal methods. These are default methods. And if you want to override this method, that is also allowed. You can override this default method here, paint.
Ma'am,
In
override
case
you
of
tell us later, but first can you tell me like what is the use of this default method here? Like maybe you can show with some small program and run and then show me. I'm not getting
Yeah.
what is the
So you
purpose
want
of this.
purpose is just The only purpose is having a method with implementation. So abstract methods means we are not giving an implementation, but in default methods we are giving the implementation. That's it. This is like
So
normal
if
methods.
so, okay. So if I for to call this, I have to again
Yeah.
mention
So
it in the
it's
circle, right? Class circle. I have to
Ma'am, I
mention.
think she is asking that in abstract classes there is also public methods and norm abstract method allowed. Here also
uh-huh.
you are allowing default method and abstract method. So both are
Yeah, yeah,
same thing,
yeah.
no?
Yeah, kind of. Now the major difference that comes between abstract class and interface is the multiple inheritance, supporting multiple inheritance. So yeah, if you look through the difference between abstract class and interface, okay, you will see these some of these differences like this. And the major difference now is only the multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance is not supported using this classes, abstract classes, but interface will support multiple inheritance. You are right.
And,
So this is just like
and
our
ma'am,
normal
default
class.
and public are more or less same, no? What is their difference?
No, no, this default is different. This default is not that access modifier, no modifier.
But
Here
ma'am, I
default
can use
method
this
is
with public also, right? So why I will use
no,
default?
no, no, no. You
That's
can't
what I'm
have
saying, ma'am. Please tell me. I mean,
okay.
show us like
Uh,
how it is working. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
where is the
understood.
difference? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You can't have normal methods in interface. Just like this, we cannot have in interface.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. That's by default.
When you declare a method like this, interface is considering this as an abstract method, and you can't even give this implementation. You have to make this like this.
But
Yeah, yeah, I got your
work-wise
doubt
both
now.
are exactly same, no? Whether it is
Uh,
Okay, so ma'am, the rest of the process is same like how
hmm.
we used to do. The only thing is instead of public, I have to make it default because I cannot keep anything public inside. I have to keep everything like non-public, abstract. I have to keep, right? And the default,
Yeah,
and with default, the only exception is that I can give a body, but with others, I have to just give a blueprint.
yeah, you are correct in some 70%. One thing I want to clear is
Hmm.
this default is different from our access modifiers. So our access modifiers are one is public, protected, private, and no modifier. We don't have a default modifier. So this default is different. Okay, this is not. We cannot. They are not siblings. Public and this default are not siblings.
Ma'am, but
So
no modifier is the default modifier, no?
no modifier is default modifier. But here, if in interface, if you do not provide any modifier, they are abstract and public.
Yeah, means I'm not talking about this interface for now. In general, if there is no modifier,
Ah,
then by
yeah,
default there is a modifier which is named as default.
yeah, yeah.
Means if we provide default in general, if we provide default draw, and if we provide just draw, both are same thing. Correct?
No, no, we cannot provide default draw here, right? Suppose if I have a method like
No, no,
default.
I'm not saying about here for yeah, for here only. If there is normal class,
Yeah,
can we do default wide something?
see here.
And if we do
Default methods are not allowed only in interfaces. These default methods are specific to interfaces. This particular keyword itself is specific to interfaces.
this keyword is not modifier,
This is
are you saying?
completely different from our access modifiers.
So this keyword is not a modifier, correct?
No, no, yeah, this is different. Not a modifier, not an access modifier. This is specific to interfaces to provide default methods. And why we need this default keyword? Because normally if we simply give void row, that is considered as default, right? But in interface, this is considered as public and abstract. Now we can't use this for no modifier default thing, right? So we need something else. That's why this default keyword came.
Yes, ma'am, got it.
Does that make sense? The other
I
one,
have, ma'am, I have one
yeah.
doubt that every function in interference have statics. Why we use statics word
There's
according to you?
background noise.
I think everything in like statics.
You're asking why we are using the static methods.
That every function in interference is a static function. There is no object we defined. Like paint also statics, but we don't use a static modifier on that function.
No, no, no. This is not static. This is a default method. When you specify a method as static, only then that is static method.
Default
Paint is not a
method,
static.
default method just means that it is the method of shape class. That is correct.
Yeah, it is a method of interface shape and it has an
Okay.
implementation. You can override it or you can leave as it is.
Okay, and
And
static means that it is
yeah,
independent of this interference.
no, no, no. Second point is if you want to call this paint method default method, you have to first extend this particular, implement this particular interface, then create an object of that particular class that implements the interface. Using that object, you can call the paint method. But for static method, you can easily call shape.f. I'll show this.
And ma'am, interface does not have its own object, right?
No, no, we cannot create objects of interface just like abstract class.
So how do we use default? Then we have to call it in the subclass.
Yeah, yeah, we can use the object of subclass. Using that, you can call paint method. Okay, let's create what is that shape?
Excuse, excuse me, ma'am. Can you have a
Yes.
default and static both for a method?
No.
Is it? No.
Default static, I don't know. No. Illegal combination of modifiers.
Okay.
New circle 1. Now I am calling s1 dot. Okay, what we have first draw method we have defined here. Let me call draw. This is just like in our abstract class, right? Now second thing is we have this default method. Default method I can call s1 dot paint. And for static method, let me use this s1 dot f. This static method of interface shape can only be accessed as shape.f. So if you want to access the static method, you have to use the interface name. Now, if I run this, main type, what happened? Public static void main. I think type shape has already been defined. Let me change this to something else.
Would the extra space be causing the error, or does it not matter?
No, this one, this is not a problem in Java. So indentation is not a problem, but curly braces is a problem. This is okay. Shape1 dot f. Yeah, fine. Now see here, s1 dot draw is invoking our method draw from circle 1, drawing circle. And s1 dot paint is going to call this method paint default method from shape 1. So we got this painting, and shape 1 has this static method f that we called along with interface name shape1 dot f. So we got this f here. Is that clear?
Ma'am, S1 dot shape means, can
Sorry,
you scroll down? Yeah, sorry, S1 dot draw.
s1 dot draw means this draw,
Which one?
drawing circle, line number 18,
Okay, okay.
17 actually, yeah. So s1 dot pane means our default method, line number 9. Now I can also override. Is that clear till now?
Ma'am, I have two questions.
Okay.
Ma'am, the first one is just I want to clarify that an interface is a special provision given in Java to create parent templates. Special, it's like
To create,
specially create abstract classes so that we can
yeah,
do multiple inheritance, which we
yes,
cannot
yes,
do in abstract classes, right?
yeah, correct.
And second, ma'am, this default methods we provide in interfaces, can we override them in the child classes?
Yeah, that was my second thing I want to do here. I'm gonna override those default methods. I can override.
Okay, okay. And ma'am, please show us an example of multiple inheritance.
Yeah, yeah.
Suppose we
After
had
this,
a
I will show
color.
that.
Okay.
Ma'am, but
Yeah, yeah,
if
sure.
there is default function, then in multiple inheritance, which default will be taken?
Okay, yeah, we will come to that. Yeah. First, let me show this overriding this. Then we will see when two, yeah, multiple inheritance, different cases. Default, yeah, we have this paint, void paint. Cannot reduce the visibility again here. So this is actually, the modifier will be public default void. I think default methods, let me check. I'm exactly not sure. Default methods in interface. And, yeah, they are default to public. All members of interface are implicitly public. Okay. They are public default. Okay. So when we write default void pane, this is actually public default void. So I have to maintain the status. So you can override this method, but you have to what maintain the visibility. Painting circle. Okay, drawing circle. Now this is runtime polymorphism, painting circle.
Understood.
Yeah.
What is the
Oh,
default actual function? Means default means it is for only for the shape one. That is I consider. How we just inherit using that default function in another class. Default means it's like the when we call shape, it will execute itself. I think default like that.
default means here in interface, when we say a method is default method, okay, now, okay, first thing you have to remember is interface is having only this abstract methods. Then you have to remember that we are allowed to have normal methods, but they are default methods because if you simply specify method like void row, that is already considered as public. So we cannot have
Okay,
normal, no modified default methods.
okay. Default means we can give some body like system dot out
Yeah,
some data.
yeah,
Okay. Otherwise, we will just be allowed to define abstract in interface.
correct, perfect. Now,
Okay, okay. I understood. Thank you.
yeah, okay. Now, yeah, we can override the default methods. Hope it is clear. Let me go through the multiple inheritance then. Is it clear till now?
Ma'am, why you need to provide public at defining?
Because all those members that we declare in interface are by default they are public. So in subclasses we cannot decrease their visibility, their accessibility. We have to either increase, like if it is protected in interface, we can have public. We can change it to public. The modifier can be changed to public. But if it is public, we cannot decrease or downgrade to private or protected. Is that clear? Are you?
Not downgrading, no. If you are not providing modifier, so it will be counted as no modifier. You are saying like that?
Yeah, yeah. No modifier means it is less than public, right? Public. How it is goes that order.
Ma'am, you said that there are only 4 modifiers, but then when you open that dialog box, it showed more than 4 modifiers.
Which dialog box?
Right now, you opened something, right?
Here.
And also, I have one question, like on the same
No, no,
context
no.
only.
Something in which there was like a pop-up which opened, right? So you said that there is only public, no modifier, protected or private, right? These are the modifiers. But
Yeah, yeah,
then in that box, it was also showing abstract and static and all that as
yeah, yeah.
modifiers.
Yeah, they are also modifiers, but uh, I mean the accessibility. When I say, when I declare a class as public class, then that class can be accessed from anywhere. When you do not specify any modifier before class, then that class is considered as default class, in the sense we can access the class only from that particular package in which we define the class. So it's like a package private. And then if it is protected, then you can access protected class only inside the only in the subclasses that is from another package, and inside the package everywhere you can access. Private means completely private. You can't access from anywhere. And static, abstract, default that we saw in interface, all these are, yeah.
Can you
Yeah, what are
just
you saying?
what is
What about overwriting?
difference
Which can
between
overwrite and
protected
which
and
Yeah,
cannot?
public and private?
So when you declare a class as protected, okay, we don't have protected class actually. Suppose we have a protected method in a class, okay? If we have a protected method, then that method can be accessed from its subclasses inside the package and outside the package. And other classes cannot access from another package, other classes cannot access protected methods.
inside package meaning.
It's only accessible like a subclasses, just
Yeah,
only for subclasses, not
yeah,
for
yeah.
outside. Another class cannot access that method.
Yeah. So here's the week 1, week 2, week 4. These are packages. So if I have a method inside this multiple inheritance, a protected method, if I have a method protected void something, then this method can be accessed by the subclasses. If I create a child class for this multiple inheritance, that can access this protected method. And inside this package, anywhere, if I create subclasses, then I can access this protected method. But
If we create another class, not subclass,
uh,
so can we access? So
yeah,
that
yeah,
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 if we access, then that
classes
becomes
and
subclass.
subclasses, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, you are
So
right actually. That is two things are different actually. So from example Java also I can access this protected method, and subclasses anyway I can access. And second thing is from another package also, from subclasses, only from subclasses I can access this protected method, not from other classes.
what is the difference between package and classes,
Access
and how
means
we
can
create
be
Relate,
package?
overwritten.
package means related classes can be put in the inside a folder. So this package is kind of folder. So all these classes comes under week 4 now. And week 2 is another package. It has some other classes. Week 1 is another package which has some other classes. So it's
So
like
in protected, we
related.
just access in one package.
Yeah, if I have this protected method, this can be accessed from any other class, subclasses, plus subclasses from another package. Clear?
Ma'am, if package is finished, then I have to bring you back to that default.
Sorry, packages.
If this topic is finished, then I want to get you back to that the last topic default. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Uh,
okay, okay.
uh,
Yeah.
Ma'am,
so
can you
you
show
mean
that?
to say that package is, if there is this method is, so we can't access it from another package, right? If a protected method is there.
If protected method is there, access is inside the package everywhere.
Okay.
Classes and subclasses. But outside the package,
Oh,
only the subclasses.
okay. So outside the package also we can access this method
Yeah, but only the
using.
subclasses.
Okay.
Subclasses of this class only.
No,
Yeah. Subclass of
Yeah.
multiple inheritance.
multiple
Subclasses means
inheritance.
only its child can access. Think like that.
Mhm.
I'll say like this. So our multiple inheritance is now in week 4. So this method can be accessed anywhere here if I create a class, object, and subclasses anyway. If class can access, subclass can access, obviously. Second point to remember is in another package, this program one simply cannot access this method. If it inherit multiple inheritance class and then it can access, only the child can access.
I have one question. We
So child.
create a package manually or just a system create based on like something? We create
It's
a
here.
our own or like a system create these packages.
No, this I have created. So SRC is the package that comes with our JDK, right? So inside that SRC folder, all these packages I created. Oh, sorry. When I create the object, I get this SRC. So this will include all the APIs, all those things. Where is that? This is our jar files and all. Then we have this SRC package. Inside the source folder, we are going to create the package. This is how we maintain the structure. Actually, this will be discussed very detailed manner in week 7, I guess. Yeah, we'll come to that. Okay.
Ma'am, can we go back to default now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
but
can you please
like
show me that code?
like in this discussion, where did we discuss multiple inheritance?
We are about to discuss, but we got stuck. Wait, we'll go there. Yeah, default, tell me.
Ma'am, I understand we can write public here, right? But ma'am,
Yeah.
my question was why there is a need to mention public? Because default itself means that like we can like access within the interface, right? So it is by default. I mean, this is abstract as well as public. Default itself means that, right? Then why we have to
Uh-huh.
explicitly mention
No,
public?
we don't have to explicitly mention public. I just shown just to mention here why we could not override pain method
Oh,
just
that
by
was okay.
modifier. That's
That was bothering me a lot. Like why we need to write? Okay, fine then.
okay.
Okay.
So let's go back to multiple inheritance. I'll show a small example. What is multiple inheritance? We can implement two different interfaces, more than two interfaces. Suppose we have interface scanner and I'm going to have method scan. So this is, what kind of method is that?
Abstract.
Yes.
Abstract public.
Abstract.
Yeah. Now I'm having printer, another interface. This is going to have print method. Okay, again one more abstract method. I think this is already defined. Printer. Token interface. Oh, sorry. So yeah, now we have another class. I'm going to have a class device.
Some say copier.
Yeah,
It was in GA. That's
yeah, correct. Okay, let's have copier, which implements scanner and printer. Now we can have more than one interface. Now, see, copier must implement the inherited abstract method print. So, we have to here again public. I think it is better to always use this public abstract so that we don't forget.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, so public abstract.
Ma'am, but if we use interface, it will be automatically be public and abstract, right?
Yeah. System dot out println.
Ma'am, if we just inheritance that interface scan from our copier class, that is correct. But if we make that method private now, so what will happen? Like scan, now you make public. Like if you make a private in copier.
Sorry. If I do not make this as public, are you saying that?
No. Yeah, it is public in interface, but it will be converted in private in copier.
No, we can't. No, we can't do that. Cannot reduce the visibility of the inherited method from scanner. We cannot reduce.
Yeah, it is not
Allowed. Yeah. So that is for scan, and this is for print. Okay. So I have just given this abstract method here, and now I can create an object of copier c1 equal to new copier c1 dot scan and c1 dot print. Why is it giving error?
Main method.
Yeah. Why am I forgetting this today? Public static void main. So this is multiple inheritance. We have implemented two different interfaces here. Okay, we had this abstract method. We have given the implementation for the abstract method. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, will you be sharing this code, ma'am?
Yeah, I will share.
Okay, ma'am.
Now, next let's have this. What if we have two methods with same name from two different interfaces, two default methods? What about, first let's see the abstract method itself. What if this is also scan? No problem, because anyway we are going to give an implementation for the abstract method. So if multiple interfaces has the methods with same name, that is not an issue, because anyway we are going to give implementation. That is clear, right? Is that clear?
Sorry, can you repeat? Sorry.
Okay. Okay, why multiple inheritance was not supported using classes? So if two classes have methods with same name, then the child class will have this confusion. If we create an object of child class and call that method, that will give us some ambiguity, because which method to call is ambiguous, right? Because from both the classes we are having same methods. Are you getting what I'm saying? Should I show here? Suppose we have class A. I'm not coding, okay, to class A, and suppose this has a method scan, void scan, and suppose we have another class B, and this also has a method void scan, and class C, if multiple inheritance is supported by Java for classes, then class C extends A comma B. If it is allowed, then this class C is going to get scan method from A class and B class. And now if I create an object of class C equal to new C, and call C1 dot scan, which method to invoke is confusion now, either from A or B. So this is not solved in Java. That's why multiple inheritance is not supported using classes, using this extends keyword. Clear?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Now, the next question what I asked is, suppose the same thing is happening here. This abstract method in scanner is scan, and the printer also has a method with same name scan. Now this is not giving any error. Why? How this is solved? As we have not given any implementation in in scanner interface or the printer interface, and anyway this is an abstract method, we are going to give a new implementation for scan, right? So that is not an ambiguity, correct?
Ma'am, can you show the main method for this?
You want to show this? Yeah, same thing I can do. Anyway, print is not there now, so let me keep this. Yeah, that will also work, because yeah, that will be considered as another method. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll explain this again. Interface scanner has an abstract method scan, and printer is also having an abstract method scan, same name. Copier is implementing both scanner and printer. Now scan is implemented here, calling this scan method. Now, as scan
Ma'am,
method is having only,
I have one doubt. Like you just said that we have this problem of like the method not resolving properly in classes when if there were multiple inheritance, and interfaces we do not have this problem because we have this we have these abstract methods, right?
yeah,
In
we have different cases.
which the implementation will be given anyway by the subclass which is having that multiple inheritance thing,
Yeah,
right?
perfect. Yeah,
But that is only for the default methods, right? Because
that is only for the abstract methods.
if we do it for any other kind of method inside the interface,
Yeah, yeah,
right,
I'm coming to that. Yeah.
then we would have a problem, right?
Yeah, yeah, that problem is also solved somehow. I'll show that also. So for abstract methods, this is the case. Okay. If that is clear, I will go to default methods. Suppose we have, okay, hope that is clear. Now, if I have a default method, void f, okay, and this is having some implementation f from scanner, okay. Now, here in printer, see, same method with same name, okay? And here, let me keep this as printer. This is default method now, so we can give implementation. And now, which method will be called? Same thing, right? So this has implementation. Now see here, you are getting duplicate default methods named f with the parameters and are inherited from the types printer and scanner. So the rule is, you have to follow this rule. You have to, if default methods from different interfaces are having the same name, then you must override that default method in the subclass. That is the rule. Got it?
Java
Repeat
developer are
that
doing
rule.
interface like this, then why they cannot do the same thing for the normal classes?
Yeah. So I also had the same question. So it's like to decrease, no, sorry, increase simplicity, something like that. Actually, they don't want to mess up with classes. That's why. So they avoided that.
And what did you just say? Like if default methods from different interfaces have the same name,
Then you
you have to
you
read.
must override the default method in the subclass.
There is default
Okay.
method in classes, and there are two method default methods. Then the inherited class must override,
Yeah.
right?
Repeat,
Means
repeat.
means if we remove the line 11 to 13,
11 to
then we
13.
do not need to overwrite, right?
Yeah, yeah. Then it's not a must. Now it is a must.
But if there is two different things, then we must need to override the default method.
Yeah, yeah.
So it just like become the abstracted method.
Yeah. So it's like we are giving a new implementation for f, and if you are going to call this uh, c1 dot f, now you are going to get f from copier. Okay, this
Does it
one.
mean Java support multiple inheritance or not in true and false case? What will we say?
Java support multiple inheritance through interfaces, not through classes. I mean, we cannot extend classes, but we can implement multiple interfaces.
So Java does not support multiple inheritance through classes.
Yeah, through extends keyword, through classes, we can select that. Yeah.
So
But then
using
you have, if you
implement,
get an interview question like this, you
using
can
use
explain this. Yeah.
using
And
implement keyword,
abstract
it is
classes can also
trying to
not be
implement. Using implement
multiple
keyword, it
inheritance.
is trying to inherit multiple inheritance, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is multiple inheritance. Using
Okay.
interfaces, we can do
Okay.
multiple inheritance in Java,
Hmm.
but using extends keyword,
Hmm. And
we
this
can't extend multiple classes. That's
okay.
correct. Yeah.
Also same for abstract, no? Multiple inheritance not possible in
No,
abstract
no.
class.
That's why interface came into picture. Okay, now one more thing is, we have given implementation for this default method that we got from printer and scanner. What about this implementation? It's going waste, right? So if you want to access this f from scanner or f from printer, what you can do? Any idea? So this is subclass. This is kind of super class, even though it is interface. What we can do? We have this super keyword, right? Can we use that?
Then which super will be called? Both
Yeah,
one by one.
that is the next question. Which super will be called? So we have like two different yeah, parents, scanner and printer. So we have to specify the interface name. So we can have something like scanner dot super dot f. Now let me remove this particular. Okay, that you can include also, but just for showing this. Suppose you want to use f from scanner, you can use the syntax: scanner interface name, the parent name, super dot function name, sorry, method name. If you want the other one, same, printer dot super dot f.
So, man, this is only for interfaces we call like that, right? If you
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to call that super method,
No, normally
and
we don't use this, right?
yeah, we only use the super and
Mm.
I mean the variables
Yeah,
we want to.
yeah, correct.
Is constructor not allowed in interfaces?
No, constructors are not allowed in interfaces.
Okay, so constructor only limited to classes and
Yes, yes.
classes. Yeah,
Abstract classes, it's
Limited to
allowed.
classes and
so
abstract
classes,
classes, both are
Yeah,
allowed, no?
yeah, yeah,
public and abstract both.
correct. So, what about static methods?
We can use the interface name to call the static method.
Yeah, that's it. Problem solved. Because anyway, we are going to call using the interface name, and static methods cannot be overridden. Second point. Okay, I'm not going to show the example.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, in
implementation can be extended.
Sorry.
Copier can be extended. Means copier is implementation of scanner and printer. So now copier become a normal class, no? So can
Yeah,
we
yeah,
extend it?
yeah. You can extend this.
And also can we implement it again?
You want to override the scan and print again. Yeah, you can do that.
Ma'am, in an abstract class, if a method is not specified as abstract, so by default it is abstract.
No. By default, it's by default normal methods,
Public.
not public. It's no
No modifier.
modifier.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that static method you do by yourself. That's it. For I think everything is over for interface and abstract class. Now,
Ma'am, the comparable thing is difficult for me to
yeah.
understand in week 4.
Comparable thing I will take in next session with a coding question. Actually, there is
Where
nothing like
is
an
this
abstract
comparable?
class comparable. We have interface comparable. This one. We can discuss this in a detailed manner. Okay.
Ma'am, we'll discuss that parallel timer also, right?
Sorry.
The parallel timer that goes on.
Yeah. We have to discuss. Now we only completed 2 topics actually. But I think you have to understand now. I should have gone first, but I want you guys to understand whatever it is. Okay, is that fine? Interface and abstract classes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Now next topic is a little bit smaller topic. So encapsulation, right? So encapsulation. How can we? Achieve encapsulation by having private variables and public accessor methods, right? Setter and getter methods, public setter and getter methods. That's how we achieve encapsulation, and we can have one more level of protection kind of thing using this nested classes. Let me show you one example. Okay, let's take this example. First of all, I will explain what is inner class. By the term itself, it's evident what is inner class. A class inside another class, right? Class inside another class. Usually we have this kind of primitive variables, methods, etc. We can also have a class as a member of another class. Now this class employee is having string name and a reference variable of type address. And where is this address class? Address class is also a member of class employee. Okay. And this is called as inner class inside another class. Now we are more interested in making this class as private class. Suppose we want one more additional level of protection for our class address. Then we can make this class as private class. Okay. Now this is inner private class.
Ma'am, by default, this address is public.
By default, address is not public. It is no modifier.
Okay.
Package specific package. What is that? Package private. Yeah.
Ma'am, but it is inner in the class, so the accessing thing means for
Yeah. Yeah.
normal employee, if it is no modifier, so their access label is different. But this is inner class, so it is also with no modifier, but its access label will also be different, no?
Yeah, it's different. If you want to create an object of this inner class, you have to use the outer class object first. So if you want to create an object of address class, you can't do something like, let me check, address A is equal to new address.
Even if you can make it public, right?
Yeah, let me check. So this is not allowed. Suppose let's make this as public. Still it's not allowed because that is inside this class. Okay. Now, if you want to create an object of inner class, what you have to do is you have to first create an object of outer class. So, what is outer class? Class employee is outer class and class address is inner class. Employee is equal to new employee with normal constructor calling. So now we got
And can
object
you
of
show that
employee.
inner class? How do you implement that? Like employee inside which class, right?
Yeah, this is employee. So employee is starting. So employee is ending here at 15. It is included
Okay.
right here. You can include anywhere, yeah, in the beginning also.
Ma'am, if the instance variable of the inner class would have been private, then only address object of address would have been able to access it.
If instance variable this is private,
No. If instance variable of the address class, that is city, if city would have been private,
okay.
then only object of address would have been able to access it, right?
No, employee can access. No, sorry. Opposite is true.
So
This is
you,
true. Yeah. If this is private, even employee cannot access, right?
yeah, that is the
Yeah.
question.
No, we cannot access. Employee cannot access private variables of address.
That's why we have not written private before it.
No, if I write this as private string city, then address even this is creating
E dot city
a
is not possible.
wait a second. Oh, sorry.
E dot city is not possible. Employee E dot city.
No, E dot city is not possible because city is not part of employee.
Address dot city, no?
Yeah, A1 dot city. Let me check from outside A1 dot city. Let's check
Ma'am,
this.
outside it will not be allowed. It is clear, but inside the employee class,
Okay, inside employee class, how can I access?
you can create one object of address, no?
Yeah. Address.
Yeah, now it is.
Let me check. And still, we have not used city right outside. City variable declare. No, this is not allowed. We cannot access.
Okay.
So outer class cannot access inner class private variables, but inner
It
class
will be
can access.
protected.
Hmm?
If it is protected, then we can access, right?
We have to check that. Protected, I guess yes. No,
Showing syntax error.
something wrong. City. I think something wrong here. This is not exactly the
Not correct.
code. Yeah, code is not correct. I will try to get an example for all this doubt, okay? let me finish the inner class main thing. So here, how can we create an object of inner class? We have to create an object of outer class, and then you have to access this employee dot class name, and then this is the inner class object name. Using the outer class object, you can call new address with the constructor. Is that clear? The private thing and all, I will check that and I'll come with a good example. Okay. That is
Ma'am,
normal
if
in
the
a
inner
class.
class,
Mm,
ma'am, I
yeah.
have a question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if the inner class is public, then it can be accessed by other classes also, right? Other than its own parent, its own, the main class in which it was defined.
No, we were not able to see here. If you simply access address, you cannot access. You cannot create object of outer class directly. But using the outer class object, you can create inner class.
And ma'am,
Okay.
can address object of address access variables of the upper class?
You are asking whether inner class can access the variables of outer class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it is private, it can access.
So it's like inheritance only.
No, it's not inheritance. It's inner class is different. We are not extending, right? So this address is not having this name and a, but it can access.
Okay.
It's not on. It's somebody else.
So because it's being defined inside that class itself.
Hmm. Yeah. So that is normal inner class. Now, important thing is you have to understand what is private inner class. Why we have to use private class. So if this address class, whatever the variables that is declared inside this address class and other things, if that is need to be private, completely private, if you don't want others to access those, then you can declare the class as private class. Now, if it is a private inner class, you can't even do something like this. Like this, you cannot create an object of inner class. Employee dot address. This is not allowed. No. See, employee dot address. This is a different employee. Okay, employee dot address is not visible. If you make that inner class as private, it is not visible outside the class. This address, the private inner class, is visible only to the outer class. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, that is the important part you have to understand. Now, the question is how can we access then? How can we access this city?
Using the objects.
So, using the a public method here, we created an address object here. Okay, that is allowed now because that is inside the employee class only. And I can call this method because this is public access modifier. Sorry, public accessor. So normally we can access private variables using public methods, right? Something like that. Same concept is used here. So I have created an object inside this method and we can call this public method here outside the class. So I created an object of employee, which is E, and I'm calling this add and set address, and I'm giving the value here, and I'm calling this method add and set address from employee, and in this add and set address method I'm going to create this address object which is allowed and passing the same value city. This is going to initialize the value here.
Ma'am, why is it allowed?
Why is it allowed? Which one?
Earlier we were not allowed to create an means you said right, it is private, so we are not allowed to create an object.
Yeah. We are, this is not allowed. Sorry. Private class objects are, sorry. We cannot create objects of private class outside the class, but we can create private class objects inside the outer class. So this comes, the method add and set address comes inside the employee class. Here we are creating the object of private class. Clear?
Yes.
Confusing.
So confusing. I'll
Yeah.
explain again. Let me see. So
From the
this is our
enclosing
outer
class
class.
can have objects of the private class, right?
Yeah. So if it is not allowed for anyone, what is the point of having a class then? At least this outer class is allowed to create objects of address class directly, even if it is private class. Okay.
Yes.
So class
Understood.
employee, outer class name, address A, and here we have private class address, and this is having the city constructor, a toString method, and this add and set address method is inside the employee class, outer class. Here we are creating the object of inner class, passing something, and this is our string method, toString method, and here this is our main class. Main class creating an object of E, then calling the method using that object add and set address method from employee, passing a value. This is going to call this method, creating an object of address, setting the value for city.
Ma'am,
Now,
in line number 19,
Okay.
ma'am, in line number 19, what is the type of A, ma'am? Like, usually we create object like employee something before then we create the
Mhm.
object. But
yeah, see here
here,
in line number 4 itself, I have declared the reference variable address A. So here I'm initializing.
Address is a class, right?
Yeah.
So object is A. I mean,
Reference variable is
a
of
reference
type
variable
address.
address.
Object is also of type address.
So A is a variable and it is means object. It is taking this object as its value.
Yeah, it is pointing to this address object. Okay. So
So we are setting this address from outside the employee class, right? I mean, in the
yeah,
main class.
in the main class by using the public method
Mhm.
of the outer class.
Object method. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, clear now?
So Chennai will be printed.
Yeah. What will be printed here? See, name, address. How? Because
Name
we
name
have
is coming from Meena. I mean,
address is Chennai. So here in toString method I have overridden. So this is going to give name and address. And for address also I have overridden the toString method to return city. That's why. Hope you know what is toString method, right?
yeah. Okay. But toString will return that in a string. I mean, string format, right?
Yeah.
Chennai.
Yeah. But without that codes, we don't have to get that codes right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now, one more. This is somewhat related to that lecture example. Shall I go through this or should we
Next.
stop session?
Next, ma'am. Next session. Please.
Okay.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Next session, ma'am.
Okay. Overloaded.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
It's confusing. No, I mean,
Ma'am,
So,
actually the previous sessions, the recording is not there in the, means the YouTube link is not provided. Can you just post it?
okay. Previous session, Saturday session.
Yeah. The YouTube link is not provided in any of the sessions.
Yeah. You know our channel?
No, ma'am. What is
yes.
the
Where is it?
Java.
Yeah. So where is my note? This is our channel. I think this is enough to be provided there in the calendar. You can go through the live section part. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm, okay. Then for next session, yeah, I will explain the rest of the
Saturday.
topics. Hmm?
This Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday. And please go through the lecture. Okay. I think
Yeah, ma'am.
what you can do is go through the lecture, control interaction through object, and this topic callback. Easy to understand. You just have to listen. Okay. And iterator is a simple topic. You can do in 10 minutes. But this, you just listen to that story. It's so nice, but you have to concentrate.
Ma'am, where all this code will be said, ma'am?
Uh, in the same section, we had something now, live session code, something like that in portal. I'll share there. The all other materials are shared right there only.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Uh, I want to